Hey everyone, I may have posted my last review of 2013, The Wolf of Wall Street, but I've seen more movies this year that I haven't gotten a chance to fully review. So this is what this video is for. I'm going to round up all the movies I saw that came out in 2013 in the United States and give short summaries of them. I can't go too deep into them, but let's do this. I'm going to start from the order they were released, with the exception of the last movie. And first up we have Movie 43. This is a series of comedy skits produced by Peter Farrelly, directed by several directors, starring a ton of A-list actors and actresses, and I hate it. I absolutely hate this movie. Hate it. This movie gave me the same level of hatred that something like Disaster Movie did. In fact, this is the best way to describe this movie. If you took Disaster Movie and put in a bunch of A-list stars, including people who have received or have been nominated for Academy Awards. I mean, last year, Hugh Jackman was nominated for Best Actor in Les Miserables, and Naomi Watts was nominated for Best Actress in The Impossible. This movie came out soon after the Oscar nominations were announced, and they both happened to be in this. It's a fucking disgrace to every person involved in this movie. I absolutely hate it. This is going to be the stain on everyone's career, and everybody needs to have a large palate cleanser to make me forget about this fucking piece of shit. Burn in Hell, Movie 43. Moving on from that, we got the Evil Dead remake. Basically, this is a retelling of The Evil Dead from 1981, directed by Sam Raimi, who is probably better known today for the original Spider-Man trilogy. This one follows David, who, along with his two friends and his girlfriend, go off to a cabin in the woods to help his sister Maya overcome a heroin addiction. But when some demonic force takes over Maya, everyone's in trouble and people get killed off one after the other. I saw this movie with my friends, and we basically had our own riff track session to this movie. But after thinking about this movie, like, really seriously, I found it to be one of the better horror remakes out there. Now, as just a movie, it's okay. I mean, the lead actress, Jane Levy, as Maya, or Mia, however you pronounce it, does a fantastic job in the role, even if some of her expressions are a little over the top and, let's be honest, laughable. And it's got some really cool, gory practical effects, some of which just made me cringe. Just like, oh wow, they went there. So, that's props to the practical effects department. But the movie just doesn't really do anything special to differentiate itself from the original Evil Dead movie, even though I appreciate it going back to the more horror-oriented roots of the first movie, rather than the horror comedy element that I love from Evil Dead 2 and Army of Darkness. And also, the girlfriend is freaking useless in this movie. She does nothing helpful. I don't even know why she's there outside of eye candy. And the movie Cabin in the Woods has honestly ruined this movie for me in a way. When I watched this movie, when I saw the demon popping up, the blood raining from the sky, the rapey tree, I just thought to myself, that corporation is working their magic and making all of this happen. So thanks a lot, Joss Whedon and Drew Goddard. I love your movie, I still love Cabin in the Woods, but it made my enjoyment of this Evil Dead just fall below the waistband. It's not a terrible movie, and I wouldn't really say it's bad. It's just, if you love the Evil Dead movies, then you're probably not going to like this one. Watch at your own risk. Up next is Oblivion. From Joseph Kosinski, the director of Tron Legacy, this movie takes place in a post-apocalyptic world where Earth has won a battle against an alien race called the Scavengers. However, there are still scavengers roaming the Earth, so Tom Cruise and his partner Victoria go around the world fixing drones that are designed to hunt these aliens. But they soon discover some large secrets that actually make the movie go in a direction that's pretty different. Now this movie, without a doubt, is probably the best looking and sounding movie of 2013. The cinematography and effects are amazing. Tom Cruise gives a good performance. In fact, most of the actors are pretty good. And the music and ending song by M83 is amazing. It's absolutely incredible. A joy to my ear. But there are a few plot elements that don't make sense, and there are some plot holes, but you are rewarded in the end when everything kind of wraps itself up. I think it's a good movie, but it really depends if you liked Tron Legacy. If you like Tron Legacy, chances are you're going to like this movie, Oblivion. If you didn't like Tron Legacy, don't bother with Oblivion. But I think the movie is good, but not great. Now we move on to Now You See Me. This movie is about a group of magicians in Las Vegas who pull off a bank heist in a bank in France. And now they have an FBI agent following them who is played by Mark Ruffalo, aka the Incredible Hulk. Now there are two things I really love about this movie. The cast is really good. You got people like Jesse Eisenberg, Mark Ruffalo, Woody Harrelson, Elsa Fisher, Michael Caine, and Morgan Freeman. And I really love the idea and setup for this movie. But unfortunately, the script is just really nonsensical, and the movie is pretty confusing to follow. It's got some good action moments, and all the actors do a good job, but it's just too hard to follow that it ruined my enjoyment of the movie. I saw it with a group of friends who did like the movie, and hey, I'm happy they liked it. I just personally didn't like it. There's nothing specifically bad about this movie. It's just, to me, it's confusing. If you understood the movie, hey, more power to you. For me, I would suggest to watch at your own risk. Next up, we have The Spectacular Now, which is from the writers of 500 Days of Summer, a movie that I consider to be the holy grail of these indie romantic comedy dramas. It follows a high school boy who is broken up with his girlfriend, but then befriends a very shy girl played by Shailene Woodley from Descendants and the upcoming Divergent. They both spend time together, form a relationship, and basically become boyfriend-girlfriend. It's a very simple and sweet movie. Not really much to it. It's like 500 Days of Summer. It's more dramatic than it is comedic, which is the best thing I could say for this movie. However, the movie is predictable, and there is one part of the movie that just kind of frustrated me, and it's all due to a lack of communication, which is something in movies that I absolutely hate, when people just don't know how to talk to each other. But it's still a really good movie. It's very heartfelt, charming. If you liked 500 Days of Summer, you're going to like this movie, just not as much. It's good, but it's not great. Next up is the Robert Redford movie, also known as Gravity in the Sea, All Is Lost. The movie follows Robert Redford as a man whose name is never revealed, as he is stuck in the ocean after his sailboat gets hit by a cargo container, and basically it's him trying to survive in the ocean without getting killed. Now this is a pretty bold movie, which I commend the filmmakers for. For one thing, you got Robert Redford, who is a legend in acting. I mean, he was in stuff like The Sting, Out of Africa, and he's about to be in Captain America: The Winter Soldier. This movie has hardly any dialogue. The only pieces of dialogue in this movie are at the beginning, a part where he's trying to send out an SOS, and when he yells out "fuck" in the air when something bad happens. But it's really good. It did get a little boring near the end of the movie, but just when I was really starting to get bored and honestly about to tune out, the movie ended, and it knew exactly when to end without overstaying its welcome. Robert Redford is incredible, and this must have been a difficult movie to shoot, which is something that I applaud the filmmakers for once again. It's good, but it's not great. Up next is the Coen Brothers movie, Inside Llewyn Davis. This movie is about songwriter and singer Llewyn Davis, played by Oscar Isaac, as it chronicles a week in his life as he's moving around from places, trying to find places to live, taking care of a cat, I love cats, and trying to get his career up and going. This movie is slightly based on folk singer Dave Van Rook, and is actually a really good movie. It takes place during the New York folk music scene of 1961, and the Coen brothers do really have an eye for period pieces. Oscar Isaac is really good in the movie, and you really feel bad for everything that's going on with him. Even when he's being a dick to people, you still feel sorry for this guy. Other people give really good performances, like John Goodman, Justin Timberlake, yeah, believe it or not, and Carey Mulligan, which, you know, despite Carey Mulligan being good, she has one bitchy note throughout the entire movie, and it's usually towards Oscar Isaac's character, where she's like, "You asshole! Fuck you!" I mean, seriously, I may have mentioned this in my Great Gatsby review, but joking aside, it really does look like Carey Mulligan in everything she's in. It looks like she's on the verge of crying, which, after a while, it's starting to get on my nerves. Like, does she ever look happy? This is a really good movie. Do I think it's one of the Coen brothers' best? For me personally, I don't think so. But it is pretty good. Not one of my favorite movies of the year, but it's a runners-up. It's damn good. Worth seeing in your lifetime. Next up, we have August, Osage Country. This movie is based on the play of the same name, and is about a family that get together after the father has died. And this is also a way to help out the mother, played by Meryl Streep, who has cancer. Now, I'm just going to cut to the chase. I hate this movie. I mean, well, first, before I get into that, I should lay out the good stuff right away, but it has some really, really good performances. All the cast is really good, but the highlights are Julia Roberts as one of the daughters, and really, it goes without saying, Meryl Streep. Both of them are probably going to get Oscar nominations, but I know Meryl Streep is definitely going to get one. So the actors are all good, it's just the movie sucks. There are stupid, like, soap opera-like twists. Plot elements just pop up and then go away without being mentioned ever again. And overall, it's just not a fun movie to watch. It's just like, you don't want to watch a movie about family arguments. I mean, there's a dinner scene in the movie that goes on for way too long. And it's just uncomfortable to watch. I mean, and by the end of the movie, there was so many plot twists that going on that I was angry. I can't really say this movie can go burn in hell, but I'm going to tell you to not waste your money on this movie. It sucks. Aside from the acting, it sucks. Next up, and as the last movie that was released in theaters this year, we have The Secret Life of Walter Mitty. Based on James Thurber's short story of the same name, this movie follows Walter Mitty, played here by Ben Stiller, who is a boring guy who just daydreams a lot. And he works at Life magazine. The company is about to print their final issue, but the negative they want to use for the cover is missing. So Walter Mitty goes on this miraculous adventure to find the cover in what is a pretty good movie. Well, let me be honest. I am not the biggest Ben Stiller fan. I'm not on the Ben Stiller hate train, but I'm just not a big fan of his. And the first 20 minutes of this movie really felt like a Ben Stiller type movie. I didn't hate it, but I just wasn't enjoying it all that much. But then, as the movie went along, it just got better and better, to the point where I really, really did like this movie. It's got some great heart and cinematography. The performances are really good. It's got a great supporting cast from people like Shirley MacLaine, Sean Penn, Patton Oswalt, and Kristen Wiig, who has never looked more beautiful in her entire career. Again, it doesn't start out very strong, but as someone who's not a Ben Stiller fan, I can tell you that it really does deliver by the end of the movie. It's worth seeing in your lifetime. Now, I really would not count this movie to be in this video, but I saw it just last night, and I think it would be kind of funny to include Birdemic 2: The Resurrection. I'm not gonna waste my time. It's the same fucking movie as the first one. You got the same two romantic leads. You got the same stupid decisions they make. You got the same horrible audio, horrible camera work, so immaturely shot, just like the first movie. The only difference is that it's shot in LA. This movie literally copies, beat for beat, the same notes as the first movie, except it's shot in LA. This is like the Ghostbusters to Ghostbusters 2 scenario. It's like the Hangover to Hangover 2 scenario. It's just... I hate this movie. You've seen my review of the original Birdemic. So basically everything that I said for that review applies for here. The only good thing about this movie is that there are 3 topless women. I know you gotta sink that low, and I know I'm repeating myself from my Birdemic review, but that's all there is to like about this movie. Yes, I may enjoy seeing boobs, but that does not increase the quality of the movie. I fucking hate this movie, and I am just in shock and awe that Birdemic can just turn me into such a sexist douchebag. This movie can go burn in hell. I swear, I am not a sexist douchebag in real life. It's just these Birdemic movies are so bad that I have to turn to, oh, well, that girl's naked or half naked in this movie. So those are the other movies that I saw in 2013. I plan to see some other movies, but I just won't have time to make the videos. I want to see Dallas Buyers Club and do a real review on that because I promised a friend that I would. But up next will be my best of and worst of videos for 2013. Leave a comment on your thoughts about the movies I breezed over. Subscribe to my channel for more stuff in the future. Check out my other channel, AlexG462. You can follow me on Twitter at AlexG462. Follow me on Instagram at TheRealMrRobinson. And go like me on Facebook /TheCinemasMrRobinson. Share me with your friends and tell them about me. And remember to know it before you see it. This has been The Cinemas Mr. Robinson, and I'll see you guys soon.